Welcome back into the Capitol Hoop Caucus. I'm Wardell McCabe. I'm joined right now, as always, by Troy Halliburton and Isaac Harris. On today's show, we've recapped the last 2 weeks of Mystics basketball and then did the same to the FIBA AmeriCup and Eurobasket. We also gave our off-season grades to the Central Division. And if you missed any part of the fun, do not worry, do not stress, because you can always catch the podcast on your favorite podcasting platform. While you're there, be sure to give us a rate and review. But you can also catch us and look at us on YouTube. So there's multiple ways for you to watch us if you missed the show or if you missed any part of the show. That means you have no excuses. Point blank, period. None. All right. Now let's get back to this show. Before closing it out, because it's almost time to wrap it up, we know that, as always, it's time for me to make my way for our next host, because we have something we have here called Trivia Time for Len. So let me make way for Guy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trivia Time from the Line. I'm your host, Guy, and you all know the name of the game. Now let's get to the aim of the game, which is this: to score more points than your opponent. We'll have 5 minutes on the clock, during which our contestants will have to correctly guess as many players' names as possible in a surprise category of our choosing. Joining us today are Troy and Isaac. Isaac, do you have any idea of what today's category is going to be? Well, here's what it's going to be, because news broke earlier this week that EA is no longer developing a college basketball game. So, to commemorate this true demise, you'll be naming the cover athletes of each player who was on the cover of EA's NCAA March Madness games. When you make your guess, please provide the year they were on the cover, their position, their alma mater, and jersey number, along with their names. Are you ready to begin?
Yep.
Then flip over those papers and let's start. We'll start first with Troy.
All right, let's go. 2004, small forward, Syracuse, 3 to the dome. My man, Carmelo Anthony.
Mello is correct. Isaac.
2010 power forward, Oklahoma, number 23, Blake Griffin.
It is Blake Griffin. Troy.
All right, 2008, small forward, number 35. Shout out KD, Kevin Durant.
It is Kevin Durant. Isaac.
2009 power forward, UCLA, number 42, Kevin Love.
It is Kevin Love. Troy.
All right, let's go. 2006, point guard, University of North Carolina. Let's go with Raymond Felton.
It is Raymond Felton. Isaac.
Ooh, okay. 2005 center, UConn, number 50, Emeka Okafor.
It is Okafor. Troy.
Okay, let's go. 2002, small forward, Duke. That's Who's the Man, Battier.
It is Battier. Isaac.
1998 center, Wake Forest, number 21, Tim Duncan.
It is Tim Duncan. Troy.
All right, let's go. 2000 point guard at the University of Maryland, number 23. That's Stevie Francis.
It is the franchise. Isaac.
Ooh. 2007 shooting guard, Gonzaga, number 3, Adam Morrison.
It is Morrison. Troy.
All right, let's go. 1999 power forward, UNC. Let's go. Anton Jameson.
It is Jameson. Isaac.
All right. Let's see here. 2003 power forward, Kansas, number 0. Nope, it's not who I think it is. I have to pass on that
Okay,
one. I have to pass on
Troy.
that.
I got this one. 2003 power forward, Kansas. Shout out to former Wizard Drew Gooden.
It is Drew Gooden. Isaac.
2001 power forward, Cincinnati. I want to say Jason Maxiel.
No, Troy.
This is when, hey, look, I'm going to have to close it out with the victory. This go 2001 power forward, Cincinnati. That is Kenyon Martin Sr.
It is Kmart. Wow. And just like that, for the very first time ever,
We got all the answers.
we got all the answers picked up. So that means it's time to tally these results. Don't know if there's going to be a surprise here, but we shall see. As the scores are 5 for Isaac and 8 for Troy, meaning that the win and the closeout does, in fact, go to Troy, putting the 3 to the dome. Troy, do you have any celebratory words for the people?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Melo going to Hall of Fame.
All right. And Isaac, do you have any inspirational words for someone who finished in last?
No.
Nothing for you there. All right, everyone. That does it for us here for Trivia Time for the Line. We'll see you all next time. Bye. All right. Who won this week?
Troy did. It happens.
It does happen.
It does.
A lot, actually.
I'm a little bummed because I overthought the Cincinnati one. I was thinking Kenyon, but I'm like, because I know someone. I know them personally. I know like 4 people personally on that Cincinnati roster, and I've met Kenyon, and I'm like, it's probably Kenyon, but I'm like, let me try another Cincinnati player.
Yeah, would have made sense to go with the guy who was picked number 1 overall on that team.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I was like I overthought it, and then I overthought the Kansas one too. I was like,
yeah, I was sitting there. I was like, I hope. I knew because of the number 0. I was like, okay, I know.
I kept for some reason in my head. I wasn't thinking Drew Gooden for Kansas. I was thinking someone completely different. I was like, no, that's why I'm like, let me pass on this one.
It's wild because I actually had that game with Drew getting on the cover too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I knew it.
The last game I had was KD. So, yeah, it was 08. So, that was a different one. Man, I'm kind of a little bummed. Sorry, Kenyon, if you ever see this.
Chin up, buddy. You get them next time.
And
you know,
Coach
this is
Emart.
what you do. You rise up, you try again. We'll see how it goes and fares for you next week. But it's almost time to close out the show. Before doing so, though, as always, we have the last shot, which is when each of us has 24 seconds to speak on anything basketball related beyond the limits of the DMV. It can be a shout out, a hot take, personal gripe, whatever it is. Now's the time to let it fly. The only rule is that when your 24 seconds is up, the microphone will shut off. So, Troy, you ready to take your last shot?
Born ready. For my last shot, I'm going to give a shout out to Tracy McGrady, who announced today that he's going back to Adidas basketball. And with that partnership, they're bringing back the prestigious ABCD basketball camp with some of the most famous names in battles. LeBron James versus Lenny Cook. Like, to have that camp back is just something amazing, and I'm looking forward to what it's going to mean.
Damn, just in the nick of time, too. Excellent work there by Troy. Isaac, you ready to take your last shot?
Yeah. I am upset with EA not fighting for us college basketball fans after the success of their game and letting 2K take it, and 2K being completely uneducated by saying only 100 teams will be featured, even though there's over 300 teams in this game. Shame on you, 2K, and shame on you, EA. You guys should be banned to the Shadow Realm for what's going on with video games.
What?
Damn, man. All that smoke for EA. And,
I know.
And none for the O'Bannons. the real villains just walking away free.
All right. Let me go ahead and take my last shot. Troy mentioned it earlier, but it's finally here, everyone. Take a breath of fresh air and rejoice because the greatest Denver Nugget of all time, and arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, who's to say, is being memorialized in Springfield, Massachusetts. That's right, Carmelo Anthony is going into the Hall of Fame. Dust off those J's, put those headbands on, and put the 3 to the dome because it's time we all stay mellow. All right, that'll do it for us here. Troy, where can our listeners get more of your work?
You can always find me on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X, at Troy Halliburton.
And Isaac?
You can always find me on Instagram at Isaac_Ajikum Harris at 224, and then also on Twitter at Ike Iriite.
All right, you can probably find me at Ponix Wardell. I'm considering dusting off the social media stuff. I'm not really sure it's tentative right now, but for anyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in to the Capital Hoop Caucus. If you missed any part of today's show, as I said earlier, you can always catch it on the podcast feed, wherever it is you get your podcasts. You don't believe me? Open up that app right now. Type in Capital Hoop Caucus at the search bar. I promise you, we're right there. Listen to the episode. Listen to the last few episodes. Share the episode if you can. And then also, we'd really appreciate it if you gave it a rate and review. It actually really helps us in reaching other fans in this area and other basketball fans just in general. So if you could do that kindness, we'd really appreciate it. And as I mentioned, we're also on YouTube. So if you wouldn't mind giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel, that'd be super helpful too, and providing your comments. Again, these are just things that just help the show out a little bit more, and it's really appreciated by us. But If you're listening on the radio, then coming up will be directly after this, actually, is going to be pregame coverage of the Virginia Cavaliers radio network as UVA is set to take on NC State. Kickoff is scheduled for 12 noon Eastern. Then later today, we'll come back on with some late-night Orioles baseball as the O's host the Dodgers. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Eastern, with coverage beginning here at 6:30 p.m. on the Orioles radio networks, presented by Sprinkler Fielder's Local 669. And both of those games are airing live on ESPN630DC.com, the ESPN 630 app, or 630 on your AM dial. Signing off for Isaac Camaras, Troy Halliburton, and myself, Wardell McCabe. This has been another episode of the Capitol Hoop Caucus, reminding you to check out 51st.news because local journalism is vital to all forms of resistance. Please be kind to one another. We'll talk to you all at the same time next week.